Well, I would switch back over to Skype right now, but it's just me and Llarold. The girls just ran away. I guess they're done. Uh, not really. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we can definitely answer them on the Twitter. Oh, Rignoros. Uh-oh, Rignoros wants to get something. Ooh. I'll wait for the girls to get back before I say this one. This is actually a good question. Riggs is the man. That's pretty fun. Hi, Emily. Are you back? Okay, let me bring up Skype real quick. Anna's coming back now,
Who,
too.
me? Back? I'm
Did
back.
they...
I didn't
what-
go anywhere.
Wow, we pee fast.
Did you... What the heck?
Wow, it's so unlikely for girls, really.
Oh my... Wow. All right. Okay. I didn't go back to the cameras yet because you both disappeared. It was so funny during the music.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's it's totally fine. It's a good way to start the after show. It's okay. But Riggs sent a really cool question. Actually, oh, there's Spaz talking about feck. Sacredduty.net. Sacredduty.net. Yeah, once we get more time on the website, we're going to have a community page, because the whole point of Final Boss, I didn't harp about it much in this episode, is that we want to bring together a lot of the awesome theory crafting communities that are driven all these different awesome paragons of their classes and put them all in one place. So you can go to FinalBoss.tv and say like, well, I want to learn about paladins, I want to learn about death knights, or learn about warriors, and be like, oh, well, Final Boss recommends Sacredduty.net or Life in Group 5 or
yeah.
howtopriest.com, like these places you can go to right from there and learn about these classes. So
Did you
Yep.
mention How to Priest today? I swear I didn't hear you mention
How to Priest is moving to the front of the show eventually, so no. I only can put 3 commercials in with the format right now, so yeah.
Okay.
But they're still all over they're down there and they're on the website, so yeah. But
Questions.
yeah, Rignoros put, take a prediction from each guest on who will win the world first race. He is generally curious about each person's opinions.
Oh no, this is a high.
Ah,
Oh, this is a high stress.
that's a
For
very
me.
rude question of you, sir.
So if I don't say Blood Legion, am I gonna like?
You might get... You're not going to BlizzCon, are you? You're going to BlizzCon, right? You're not.
I am going to BlizzCon. I am
You
going
are,
to-
so... I don't know. Rignoros is a powerful guy. He can pick you up and slam dunk you in a pool or something like that if you don't say Blood Legion. I would
know,
be scared of that.
But
I'd
I don't know
welcome
how
it.
I don't know how many of the Method guys are going to be showing up at BlizzCon, so I don't know if I could get protected.
Yeah, I asked Sko. I don't think many of them are because their BlizzCon is basically Gamescom because they ran that place more or less. So I don't know. Actually, I'm wondering how many people are going to be there because we're actually trying to set up a Final Boss / awesome raiding community / benefit dinner / community get together, where I'm trying to organize all these awesome guilds and people that are going to be there all to be in one place, like one hotel, pool or whatever, one hotel like backyard, and so we can all be there at one spot, and each awesome community can bring their swag and their t-shirts and whatever else. We're gonna have some Final Boss buttons and some wristbands and stuff for you guys, and just so you can meet all these awesome players, right? Like, I don't know if Riggs is going to sign autographs for 2 hours, but maybe. Or he can dunk you in the pool, right? He can dunk you in the pool. You can get dunked in the pool by Rignoros at BlizzCon. So either way, something like that. This would be cool because I know there's been a lull because there's no BlizzCon last year, and before that, Gamebreaker TV had their cool poolside live stream chat get together thing with all the community members. But I think there needs to be something like that this year too. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about anyone organizing something like that big, and I think the Final Boss whole background with putting these people in front of the camera with you guys and getting them on the show and networking with all these awesome guilds around the world will definitely be cool to have that, because then the community members can just come and just candidly talk to you and just meet you at the show and meet you at the pool party or whatever. So that's on the work right now. We're trying to get that all together. It's a lot of fun, I think. I wish I could hear chat room right now.
We'll get everybody really drunk and then put them all on camera.
Well,
See how
yeah,
that works
if
out.
you can drink.
Fun times.
Rick doesn't
If you
drink.
can drink, if you choose to drink.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
As far as the race goes,
Yeah.
just to
Oh,
make
I gotta write-
make a PC comment,
where's my notepad? I'll write this down.
write this down. I think no matter who wins the race, it's going to be really fun to watch because I have people who.
Oh, you!
Oh, I know I'm going for like. But no, I think that there are people who I really love to watch in all of the skills that are going to be racing, especially Method and Blood Legion, because Method has Trekkie, who is the bomb, and Blood Legion has Salam, who is also the bomb, and I love those guys.
Paladin
So-
bias? Man.
I know, Paladin bias. Well, all of my friends are Paladins. I'm wearing the Buff Pallies t-shirt. So, but I will enjoy watching everybody. So.
Oh, yeah, we can't see it in the 4 camera. Can you see it?
Oh,
Can you see her
no.
t-shirt in the solo
It's
camera?
Paladin's t-shirt. Let's see. Does
Let
that
me
work?
hang on. I gotta remove the lower thirds. Wait a minute. Now do it. Now wait, show the shirt.
You're doing it now. See?
Yeah. Buff
Yeah.
pallies.
Buff
Awesome.
Pallies. It's the
Yeah.
best use.
Yeah, I was gonna remove all these lower thirds and stuff. So
And
when
see,
we
Blizzard took my advice last patch because all we got were buffs.
Yay.
That is technically true. I don't. Yeah, that is. That is technically true. Damn it! Your ploy worked. Yep.
I'll give my answer. I'm pretty sure I would be murdered, slaughtered of some sort if I did not say Blood Legion.
Denied puppy access
Uh-huh.
for the rest of your life.
No, and the kitties, not the kitties. But I am a Team Blood Legion. I have to be. So I hope. I mean, I think the race is gonna be great overall, and I hope the best for everyone. But Team Blood Legion.
Yeah,
Team Blood Legion.
we have a couple.
pom-poms.
We have a couple great U.S. guilds that are definitely be gunning for that spot. I think after just meeting the Blood Legion crew and like learning a little more about them, the inner workings of them, which you can guys all learn about also on the YouTube page, is that they put a lot of heart and soul into this crap. Literally, like it is going to be. I actually asked Emily because I was going to do a queue with you the other day and play League of Legends, but I was like, "So have you heard from Riggs lately?" And she just like laughed. You know, I was like getting so ready for this week, and that's awesome though because it's a video game, right? To credit, it's a video game, but for these people, especially for like all of us, we play for our friends and our people we're with, right? And that's a huge part of for me. I know that the NA scene is what I want to represent. I don't want to. I mean, I would love to see a world first NA kill, right? World first NA Garrosh, yeah, that's my hometown. You know, right? So,
Yeah, I guess we have to support the home team.
I think we have to support. We don't have to, but I think if we don't, we're getting pool dunked, or noogies, or something. So,
Veggies.
oh god, I can't even imagine. How tall is Riggs again? Like 9 feet 7 inches.
9 feet.
Just
6'3" or
yeah, he
so.
would. I'm only 5'10". He'd wedge you the fuck out of. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, hometowns all the way. But I think it's going to be interesting to see, though, because of the time difference, too. And who gets the leg up. If they do some skipping bosses in the non-linear part, like who they go to first. Like if they do Thok or Siegecrafter or whatever after spoils, it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Or what they pick. And if that really changes a lot, because you don't want to pick a boss with a strat and they when your other guilds, like if Method picks one and Blood Legion picks the other and they kill it before the other group, that's a huge leg up because you already have a boss down while they're still working on another one. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens because of that little delineation there. But I don't know, because I know for me, we don't have the hours. We're going to cherry pick a little bit. We're going to bounce around to some heroics out of first week to get 3 or 4 dead. That's how we progress. But for the steam rolls, they're going to go right on through until they get to that corridor. That's interesting to me. I think it'll be fun to see what happens.
Yeah, our experience of a zone like this is going to be very different from the way that the very top guilds do it. Just
Of course.
because we, at least all of us here, play in time-limited guilds, like very hardcore time-limited guilds, but in
Yeah.
time-limited guilds. And so the way that
Very
we
much
approach
so.
an instance is going to be, it's just going to be inherently different.
Yeah.
I know what we do on 12 hours a week is particularly challenging in the second and third weeks when we have just killed all of the bosses for the very first time, and then the question is, so how much time do we need to repeat Garrosh? And we don't have the option of adding any time. So then the question is going to be, how much time do we really have to devote to this guy? And then if we guess wrong, then, you know, we either end up with a short week, which hasn't really happened, or we end up with some, you know, some spare time by accident. And fortunately, my raid leader is pretty good at making the call since he's got, you know, like 7 years of experience doing it. But,
Oh, yeah. And that, it's very different for each guild, too. And I think the 4 of us in general have a really good spectrum, too. Like, Emily and I are really close together. I think you guys got 33rd US last year. And we got
35th?
35th, and I'm 40th, right? So we're like on top of each other, right? With the yeah, sure. But we beat you to normal Garrosh.
Oh, normal!
I know.
normal
I know those
matter.
10 wipes though, and then something wicked. What'd you guys finish again?
Let me check. We were behind just because we spent a lot of time on Raden.
I want to say like 60th, right?
Yeah, 60th. No, it was more than it was better than that.
Better than that? Oh,
We
better
were
than
really
that.
quick with Raden. We killed him the day after Leishan, like
Yeah.
30 pulls, yeah.
We were 51.
50. Oh, say 51. So okay.
Yeah, we were
okay.
51, but we took 2 weeks on Raden, and that really pushed us
Oh,
behind
wow.
on
Oh,
our Leishan
yeah.
kill. Our Leishan kill was
Fuck.
47, and we were in the 30s. All of our kills, if you look through the whole tier, were in like the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah.
We slowed down just a little bit at Raden because we don't have a monk tank. We went with we have a warrior to DK, and that's
Oh,
what
that's
we
what
use.
we have. We have
So-
a warrior DK.
hmm And we
Poor
also
folks.
spent a long
Yeah.
spent a long time basically configuring DBM because it's also important for us to make that work. I mean, Omega
Well,
does a
yeah,
lot of
that's.
work.
I think that's a different thing too that you go on without saying. I think to those that don't know is that even though you guys are raiding, you're doing a lot of work for. What's the download count on that on Curse? Like 2.8 million or more.
A lot of millions.
Right, a lot of millions, and that goes without saying that you guys also put in that work for this
It's all
awesome
Omega.
add-on.
He does it all himself.
Oh,
But
it's all
once in a
him.
while-
Okay.
Once in a while we do. I mean, but we'll pull it in a certain way so that he can.
Sure.
And we really didn't want
Yeah.
to move to Bigwigs. Bigwigs had the add-on for Raden, and we really didn't want to move to Bigwigs, and so
course.
we spent some time doing that. But the fact is that it did take us an extra week to kill Raden, and so we ended up at only 51. I mean, 51 is amazing. When I joined Something Wicked, we were in the 80s and the 90s, or even over US 100, and we've come a ridiculously long way in the last year, and so I'm pretty fucking proud. It was just kind of a little bit of a letdown because I wanted to end up in the 30s or 40s, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it this year.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Lara, what did you guys
Back
finish?
here.
What did you guys
We
in
finished.
the 10-man
We
run?
finished 61st in the U.S.
Yeah.
In 10,
Mhm.
but we finished June 28th, which
That's
it was
around-
later than it was later than it should have been.
Sure.
We lost our off tank,
Oh,
Dark Animus.
okay,
right
there
when
you
we
go.
got to Dark Animus, our off tank went on vacation and he never returned. He's alive, although, but
He's part robot now.
but yeah, but we had to recruit another off tank, and that held us up on Dark Animus quite a bit longer than we should have been held up.
Yeah.
And once we got Dark Animus down, which took us, I want to say 5 weeks looking at WoW progress.
Woof.
Took us 5 weeks on Dark Animus, which was far and away the hardest boss of the tier for us at least, but I think just for 10 in general. And then once we had Dark Animus down, Heroically Shin was down in a single week. Raden was down in an hour.
Stupid for freaking 10 man.
Quiet, you! I don't want to hear about this. Back in my day. Yeah. But no, there was definitely a difference because Dark Animus 25 heroic easily was easier than 10-man
Mhm.
heroic.
It was very rough in 10.
It would
Yeah.
take like
Yeah.
a week to kill Lei Shen after you kill Dark Animus, though.
Mhm.
Something like that, several weeks.
Yeah.
Invisible.
And
Yeah.
I would say, if I have to make a call, and this is a bit of a trollish call, I like Blood Legion, obviously. Certainly they're representing the U.S. I'm
Mhm.
actually going to call Paragon, I think. I think they're going to make
Oh.
a repeat of Tier
Ooh.
14 and be the first ones through again. But I like to think of 10 and 25 as separate
They're-
races.
Yeah.
So I think they're pretty clearly going to be the first 10. Maybe not. That'd be great. You
Yeah.
know, if somebody else
would-
rises up as well.
Well, that's
But
the.
I think
Respect.
they're the established 10-man guild
Yeah.
in the world. And I think it's pretty close to a dead heat between Method and Blood Legion right now in 2025. Blood Legion
Oh,
finished
definitely.
1 week behind last go around, and they were. I
Oh,
wanna
don't say
barely
it. No, Riggs
close
is gonna have terrible nightmares tonight now
So
about why
I-
they did that.
I don't see
I-
him in the chat.
Is he?
might
Is he
have,
just?
I think
Did he just?
it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
chat
great.
might be loading. Yeah.
I think it's going to be great, and I definitely have high expectations of Blood Legion in this tier.
We're gonna go some questions real quick from Twitter.
Mhm.
Magdalena throws one at Anafielle. What class do you make Ghostcrawler want to nerf? Oh wait, what? Oh, what did your class do, Paladins, to make Ghostcrawler want to nerf you all the time?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. One of us must have kicked his puppy or something. But see, it's so funny because there's this joke that like paladins get nerfed all the time. But like, when have we gotten a really major nerf this entire expansion? Like, this has been the
Yeah, I don't know.
expansion of the paladin. Holy paladins have been in a great shape. Prop
Yeah.
paladins, of course, are like the perpetually overpowered tank. Blizzard never really brings prop paladins down to the level of all of the other like lesser tanks.
Ah,
But prop paladins have, I mean, when have prop paladins been in a bad place in the last two expansions? We really never have.
Not at all.
And
yeah.
then red paladins just don't get a whole lot of discussion because there are a lot of paladins in the other two specs, so it's unlikely that you're going to have room for lots and lots of red paladins in your raid. But we've been viable.
Yeah.
We've been viable since the beginning of MOP. There hasn't really been a reason. Well, we bring Devo, which is great, and tons of raid utility, but our DPS has been very on par. The only time that Ret Paladins have been the class to sit have been encounters where melee in general have been sitting, of which there have been many, and that is a problem.
and before heroic Thok.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, or heroic paragons. That's what
Oh,
happened.
please.
going back a little while,
Yeah.
Heroic Spine, Death Knights, I don't know about 25, but for 10, they were phenomenal for doing one pops on Heroic Spine. So
That's
you know,
Frost or Unholy?
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I meant Ret Paladins.
Oh, okay.
Ret
Oh,
Paladin.
no!
Our
Ret
specific-
Paladin was great for Spine.
one of the-
Final Boss TV does not endorse anything that Llarold just said. Magdalena, don't kill me, please.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons why Ret makes a very flexible rating spec, perhaps the higher end has a different experience of it, but the fact that we can do burst on demand in a really is incredibly powerful, and that's something that helps in heroic raid encounter after heroic raid encounter. It's just the ability to pump out an enormous amount of burst damage, and that it's a little bit lower with the change to Guardian, but it's still very powerful. And one of our weaknesses has always been cleave, and so we've looked pretty bad on any kind of cleave fight. And with the 4-piece fixing that, I mean, Ret is in a great place. So maybe we sent Ghostcrawler some cookies or something. Like, I don't know.
Sorry for your dog. Here's some
managed to-
cookies.
We managed to bribe the guy into putting all the paladins. And I'm sorry if I'm making any paladins mad who are watching this who like to complain and like to cry that the world is ending because we're on the bottom of like the Simcraft stack rankings. Like, I'm sorry, learn to figure out what those actually mean. They don't mean anything. Ret's
Oh,
fine.
please, let's just bring on Sparkhugs real quick to talk about theory crafting and websites and community stuff. I think it's set people straight again. But
People just see the stack rankings and they're like, Ret's on the bottom. Ret is terrible. Ret was not terrible last year.
we talked about that too. Is that for us we had one Ret Paladin for like ever, and he like just fell face the earth. We think he's like abducted or something. But like the reason why you also see people at lower tiers for that class is underrepresentation. Not necessarily because the spec is bad, just because less people play it.
Yeah.
So don't just think because you see them down at the bottom, it's like, oh, Ret Paladin's terrible. Just look, there might be just less of them. So what you do is you go and look at Ret Paladins in general on Word of Logs or whatever, to some degree, and you check on the ones that do lots of damage, and what do they do? What do they do? Or you go to sacredduty.net and talk to the people that are there. So, what are the two things, right? Those are the two things you can do. But don't just look at that number and think that Ret Paladins are terrible right now because they're lower. Maybe there's less of them. So they have less of a sample size to push up against the 70 million rogues or 55 million warlocks. It's hard to
What I love about the
absolutely.
Simcraft stack rankings is just that, like, you're taking every module that's written by every different author that does Simcraft for each different class. Well, who has done the Ret Paladin module for Simcraft? I'll tell you who's done the Ret Paladin module for Simcraft, and that is nobody. Until for the last couple of months, until Thek picked it up a month or two ago, just the general Paladin module. So all of these people who are taking the Simcraft stack rankings as representing like the way our class would stack up in a raid are doing so off of Simcraft is a great tool, and it's not like it's that inaccurate, but it's not going to be perfect, and when you just can't depend on that kind of thing against so many different authors who are doing all different things. It's a big pet peeve of mine that people are like, oh, Ret's so bad, Ret's going to get sad in every fight. Like, I'm sorry, have a look at raid bots and Ret's representation. We're heavily represented in 25-man raids.
It's difficult to simulate things like, just to take Rod N for example, simulating things like an ad spawns and you have to burst it down. That's tremendously valuable in a raid setting, but simulating it is dicey at best. Things like target swaps, things like moving for Darumu as an example, moving for the Darumu maze. That's something that you technically can sim, but that's pretty dicey as far as simming or any kind of models go. And the only way to really know how it'll work out is to get in there and see, oh, Elemental Shaman are amazing on this fight and kind of on the rest of the tier.
Yeah.
I like
And the
them,
thing is that
but
most people don't actually go into Simcraft and do all of that stuff either.
Right.
They have a look at like the pretty little bars and how long they are, and they consider that to be their judgment of how the class is doing. And it's quite frustrating because Ret Paladins do have a reputation for complaining. As Magdalena's little joke points out, we have a rep for being big whiners, and we are. We're one of the highest population classes in the game, and we are big whiners. And I'm just like, Rets, chill out, man. We're doing fine. Like, what are you talking about? I don't get sad in
Squeaky
raids.
wheel gets the grease.
I know.
Like, I'm thinking about
apparently
our
that's
Ret
the mindset.
Paladin. Our Ret Paladin's in a lot, and he usually does really good damage. Like, I barely played Rhett before, but I just know that he does pretty well. And he's in a good place, I would imagine.
Or maybe
So
I
we
should
have-
say that we're not in a great place because I don't want to get nerfed. So
Although I'm assuming they are underrepresented, possibly in 10-man. I would imagine that. But
I think
in
they are
25-man, I think-
underrepresented in 10-man just because Prot and Holy are so strong. It's
Yeah,
not a problem with
exactly,
Rhett.
exactly.
Just Prot and Holy are ridiculously good in 10-man.
And you can't really be stacking too many classes. Like, if you have one Prot, one Holy, and then have a Rhett, that's like almost like overkill, I feel.
You see this occur a lot in 10. You saw it happen with Windwalker Monks, which I'm not a guru of by any stretch, but
Yeah.
Windwalker Monks in TOT in 25, fantastic. They were by the end of the tier, which, as I said before about where Brewmaster DPS was, doesn't really matter so much for progression, but matters for the next tier's progression. They were arguably the number 2 DPS spec of melee DPS in 25s, and they were barely even on the map in 10s because of a couple of reasons. There's really no raid utility being brought by a pure DPS or a melee DPS class. They have the limitations of being a melee DPS class. They are a great soaker, so there are some things like Malkarok. They're pretty good for soaking on Malkarok. In fact, they're excellent for soaking on Malkarok.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a 10-man raid, you should be trying to bring a Brewmaster Monk. I mean, comps are what they are, but a Brewmaster Monk or a Windwalker Monk, if you have to choose between one of the two, it's a pretty easy choice. And that's why most 10-man guilds have made that choice of, we'll bring the Brewmaster Monk, we'll bring a Rogue, and that'll be the extent of our agility. We don't really need 3 leather agility in a group of 10 people.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen a Feral Druid?
What's a feral druid?
I almost
We have
forgot
2.
they exist.
Hey, we run a feral druid.
Yeah, we have a feral
Don't
druid.
diss the kitties. The cloak
Real?
looks awesome when it procs on them. Let me tell
On
you,
their
that cloak
butts.
looks-
I
that
love how
cloak looks really funny.
look on Ghost Wolves.
Well, that's on our butts. Yeah, it's totally screwed up on Ghost Wolf. Drevka, I think this is an inside question or an inside joke.
Oh, you're not gonna say the whatever.
Should I? I mean, I gotta. No? Yes? Ready?
What's your favorite restaurant to invite
it.
people to that isn't burned down when they arrive there? Little heart symbol. Derevka and I once had lunch together or dinner when he came to visit me in Charlotte. He was passing through and we had dinner. And I told him to meet me at a restaurant, one of my faves. It was kind of a nice restaurant, so I hadn't been there in a couple of months. And he went there and it had burned down. And I didn't
Oh.
realize. And so I called him when I was just a couple minutes out and we went somewhere else. And he hasn't let me forget it since. The people I raid with.
It's pretty good. I thought that was topical at some point. Reese wants to know if I can have our after show soundtrack. It's just my Pandora, actually. I just whip it to my my video games channel. If you ever stop by my stream, I can show you the playlist. I can link you to my playlist via my Nightbot, but it's not set up for this side. It's just I just changed the channels and put it on for the after show. Since there's no music during the show, that it denotes the after show when there's music. And Emily's eating over here. Just that. So this is the after show.
Sneak it in. I was hoping no one will like.
The
see
after
or
shows
notice.
are no, it's fine. The after shows are going up on YouTube slowly. I think there's 3 posted so far. I'm just slowly rolling them out as I get time to make the thumbnail for them and post stuff up and do the comments and stuff, or the description. So those are coming up because people asked for the after shows. So those are online. Obviously, all the other episodes are up there too. So no, Reese, you can't really have it. You could listen to it though. You could make the same channel I have. I just had Pandora 1 now for probably 2.5 years. So it's just so fine-tuned in all my channels and so thumbs up, and everything that I don't like is so thumbs down that it just really hones in on the good music. So. Yep, that's what it is. The actual show beginning and ending soundtrack, however, is actually licensed music that I have through my job, through a website that you can buy licensed music that you can own that you can use for commercial use. I don't get in trouble for. So that I cannot give you. That is mine and my own. But yeah.
Way to be greedy, bae. Way to be
Oh,
greedy.
and then apparently Always said that Rignos is actually at least 10 feet tall in heels. So don't short him. I apparently made him too short. I didn't know Rignos was heel though. Does he wear heels? Emily, does he wear them? Do you know any
I
confirm,
feel like
deny?
she can't answer that question with a yes. So
We'll see
even
at
if the answer
BlizzCon.
was
Do
yes.
it anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah, say yes anyway.
I didn't know Rignaros was. We'll see.
It could
Riggs.
be like little wedges.
Someone needs to Photoshop the picture of them getting endorsed by Razer now and put heels on it. What have you done? What have you done? Just tweet that at Blood Legion on Twitter or their Facebook page. Just the awesome picture of them getting endorsed by Razer, which grats, by the way, and then just heels
really cool.
on
Yeah.
Rignaros. Just ram that there. Just put them there. Be good.
Good call by Razer.
Yeah,
on
good
that
call.
one.
Yeah.
Razer had the better pickup than, I mean, good for Blood Legion as well, but yeah, Blood Legion are great. So,
Well, while we're
It was a
waiting for
good
more
choice.
viewer questions, I have a question for the other 3 people who are on the show with me, if that's okay, Bay.
Oh.
Can I do that?
oh,
Is that allowed?
no questions.
Can I ask a question to everybody else? Bay is
Nope.
Bay muted.
Okay, no, I'm making a funny face. What? Go for it.
Oh, you're making a funny face. Oh,
Yeah.
that's well. I'm sorry. I want to know what everyone's favorite encounter was so far in Siege, because I know my favorite was Siegecrafter so far, but everybody's kind of been saying that. So because Siegecrafter is so cool. But if anybody else has one that really stood out to them, I think there's a lot of new bosses that are really neat. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, so favorite encounter in tier 16.
I wanted it to be Nazgrim. I think it's going to be in Heroic. In Normal, I was disappointed. I actually, our Holy Paladin disconnected in that, and stood in a shockwave, I think. And then shortly thereafter, I disconnected. And when I logged back in, our Prot Paladin had 10 stacks. We had multiple Ravagers out. And we
Perfect.
still one-shot it, but Gammon died. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a loss.
Oh no!
I was so mad. I
Should've
was
wiped it.
dropping Helix Spheres under him, and I was doing everything to keep him alive, throwing key waves specifically at him. So I wanted to like that fight the most. I think I might actually like Narushin more than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like
haven't-
that fight. The little tiny proving grounds thing that you do. The
That is
shields
true,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
shields on the ads are pretty small. I know it was a complaint that was made on PTR, and they didn't adjust it for live. But that fight is really awesome. Like they took this proving grounds idea and then they stuck it into the raid.
Into the raid, yeah. Look at that injected in there. Emily, your turn.
I'm gonna start off with I feel like the most stressful fight for me was Paragon.
Oh, please,
Because-
yeah.
As a healer, like, oh my god, it was like watching a tank just get one shot and you're throwing like everything at him. Like, as a disc priest, I heal tanks, but I generally focus raid. Usually, I don't put my 100% focus on that tank. I'm not spamming him. I'm usually multitasking. I was spamming like hardcore single target. It stressed me out really hard. So that was
I guess it
partly a DPS fault.
it depends. It depends on your order in which you get your paragons too, because sometimes you have 2-on-1 and 1-on-1, or you have just 1-on-1 and 1-on-1, and one just kind of stands there, like the sniper, the ranger, or whatever.
I have a DK tank. Which
Oh
is,
well, yeah. Let's just throw that back in there.
Yeah, we run with the DK as well. It's always kind of
we have
scary to see
DK
where
warrior,
his health
and healing that DK. Oh my goodness! Sometimes it just gives me heart attacks. Like,
Yeah.
But my favorite, I liked healing Garish. I thought it was fun. There were so many different aspects to it. It feels very memorable to me. Like, I feel like it's one of the harder end bosses on normal, at least. Simply because of that mind control mechanic. Like, it's not like, oh, someone's mind controlled and they're doing damage to you or whatever. It's mind controls that mind control other people until your whole raid is mind controlled. Like, I found that fight to be not as stressful necessarily, but I enjoyed it.
Garage definitely has the funniest wipes of any fight in the zone. Absolutely amazing.
The funniest wipes. Yeah.
With the whole raid getting mind controlled, we actually had a hilarious wipe where we pushed him right as he transitioned, and the whole raid got mind controlled upstairs. It was ridiculous. It was kind of amazing.
We had a 1.2% wipe and a 1.3% wipe, all just mind controls everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Those are sad.
So I think mine then. I won't arbitrarily just say Siegecrafter. As a melee, the fight is super fun, I feel, because you directly impact the encounter. And we have two groups. You have two groups normal, so you have 1-1. And I was one that led one of the groups, so we picked which one we killed. What weapon we killed each time we went up there. And it was fun. I did get gibbed by the lasers once, because like sometimes it's just a little bigger than it looks. And, but no, I think my favorite fight, though... I think funniest looking fight is either Thok or Iron Juggernaut, because Thok you get turned into meaty bits if you're in front of the giant T-Rex dinosaur dragon thing, and then on Iron Juggernaut when you're just like all standing around here, does the shockwave pushback, and you're like, I'm this boss, woo! And if you, we went over like, we did a tier 16 breakdown fight right on my live stream. We talked about every boss in general. It was like 2 hours almost long, and we talked about how the room you're fighting Iron Juggernaut in is literally the entire front gates of Orgrimmar. It is the entire, the whole front of it. So if you're not positioned properly against a wall or a barricade or a catapult or something like that, you are gone. You can get knocked back from the boss all the way through into the gate, like, and you're like 100+ yards away, and you have to, and you look like an idiot because you're just. But it's funny to look at. The little people are just like, woo! That's funny.
Yeah, we did that on beta PTR a number of times, and that was so fun doing with some of the, I'm sorry, the PTR LFR. Some of the PTR LFR groups were.
That's so rude, dude. No
it was so
way.
great. It was so great watching people get launched like 600 yards back. He's gone. He just disappears into the sky like Team Rocket.
Position it right between the front gates where you walk into him, and then just like, boo! Gone. Which is funny, too. You can actually, when you walk to the front gates after Vol'jin talks to him, you can walk right past the right of him to get to, like, the corner by the other gate that's closed off. That's where you fight the boss properly, because there's, like, 3 walls you can get knocked into. It's really easy. But I thought that was kind of dumb that you can position like that at the beginning of the fight. He just doesn't aggro you until you, like, actually attack him, right? He has this giant Scorponok... Huh?
He doesn't body pull?
Well, at least when you walk around the corner... Like, when you walk around the corner of that... Yeah, no problem. You can walk straight through it, and he doesn't aggro you.
His body pull range is, I think it's actually shorter than melee range. That is how I pulled him on our first pull, just to see.
It's just weird, yeah.
And it's incredibly short, his body pull range.
I would almost
remember
think
us
he would...
positioning over there. I just didn't remember if we did it with summoning portals or what.
Yeah.
I would almost think he would aggro you as you walk into the gate. Like, he is the protector of the gates, right? He's this huge siege engine.
Yeah.
And you can just walk right past him. He just sits there.
Yeah.
I'm a
doing his thing.
Scorpion.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a missed opportunity there for Blizzard too. I think they should have made him transform in Phase 2 and been like a huge like goblin structure where he actually. That's just the Transformer fan in me wanting to do that, but that's a missed opportunity, Blizzard. Transformer bosses. Let's get to it.
Transformer bosses.
He's a big scorpion in Phase 1, and they turned into like a big giant like laser on the back turret, and then when instead of doing the stomp like being like a giant fart, he just like stomped around with this giant robot foot, right? And woo! Come on. I know animating is a bitch, but let's get to it. Let's get some Transformers in World of Warcraft.
You know, they've done a great job with animations on, I know we talked about this last night a little. Character models in MOP are so far beyond what they've had in all the past. I mean, their animators are great, very talented, and clearly they had a lot of time to work on pandas. I would say that's probably it as much as anything else, is that they got to focus on pandas. They didn't have to, do Worgen 2 or 3 times. They got to just hone in on one, and it looks great, I think. And certainly that's something I hope for in the future with character models across the board.
There was a
hopes.
Oh, there was a post on Reddit where someone grabbed the Thrall model from Burning Crusade when they redid his model the first time, and they grabbed his model from the cinematic, and that's the same engine 6 years later, and it's like a totally different game. And that is definitely coming. Hopefully in the future that will have that look for everyone, but that's a lot of work. And I think there was a Ghostcrawler tweet or someone that said that no MMO in history at this level has redone their launch character models successfully without incredible ridicule and problems. So I'm fine waiting for it. I mean, maybe it comes out with the dance studio at the same time, dance studio. But
yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
just so hard because people have emotional connections to the way that their characters look. And even if you can sit here and say for 2 years that you want your character to look different, but if you log in and the character that you've looked at for the last 7 years or so, it suddenly looks like a whole new person, I can see how that would be really jarring. so they have to be very careful about it.
Sure.
I mean, as somebody who plays a human, I really, really want new character models. Like, I really want them, but I completely understand.
You don't love these hands? You don't love these hands?
The mitten hands.
These mitten hands, though. Come on.
Especially playing
I like
Final
my
Fantasy.
Pluto.
Especially playing Final Fantasy recently. It's just going back to WoW. It's just, makes me so sad. Makes me so sad.
But yeah, you can't compare. Like I played Terra for a stint, and I think the Terra engine runs on the Unreal, and Final Fantasy XIV looks great. Don't get me wrong. I still think Terra beats it in some regards, just because of character animations, because it has a huge engine behind it. And the combat system is just a lot more fluid and obviously full action, whereas Final Fantasy is a little bit of a mix. But yeah, those are just newer games, right? And we're running off more or less the Warcraft 3 engine, which is older than World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
That is like 14 years old by now, 15, 14, somewhere in that range. So
That's right.
you gotta give credit where credit is due, because if you watch the Wrath cinematic with the Old War cinematic, past 3.1 to now, you can't even. It looks like an almost movie-esque CG. Outside of the fact that it's rendered in the game engine, the end cinematic for Garrosh, right? Like it's really good.
The Siege opening cinematic was awesome. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, true, yeah. That one's all. I think. I want to say though that one might have been actually pre-render, not game engine render, but I'm not totally
Probably.
sure.
It was pretty clean.
Because Garrosh's
Yeah.
jowl is pretty. Almost looks like it came from like the StarCraft engine, looking like it looked really good. So.
Yeah.
But even when you walk up to Thrall and you pass by Thrall as you're going into Garrosh's room,
Yeah.
he's just very detailed looking model. I mean, I know
Yep.
that they took great care with Thrall's model in last expansion and in this
Sure.
expansion.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that happen to everybody. I know that my DBM co-guildmate was talking about what he was going to do for DBM on that fight, and he said that he was going to put the Hearthstone sound Garrosh versus Thrall into the DBM for that fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of these days when you update DBM, you'll hear it.
That'd be pretty good.
I love it.
That would be good. I'm refreshing Twitter here. Nothing else really came in. Reese said that Terra's graphics are beautiful. Yeah, I do miss playing that game too. Yeah, because I don't have enough time. It's funny. I said it before a lot on my stream, but once you become a content creator in games you love, you don't play the games you love much anymore. As awkward as it sounds, because you have to set up to do the content for the games you love, which means you don't actually just sit around and play them as much anymore. But I love doing it. It's my
Don't
passion
act
of
like
mine.
it's not worth it. Yeah.
Oh no, it's awesome. It's so much fun. Are you kidding? The feedback we've gotten on the YouTube
Yeah.
videos, and I wish we could get feedback from the chat, but obviously League of Legends Worlds, which you guys are awesome for all being here. And,
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, our dungeon is nothing without our mobs and minions, so it's super awesome. But there is.
Out on game.
Yeah. You can watch it all later. Quiet you.
Right.
We're the same team. We'll watch it later, Emily. It's okay. But if there's nothing else that really comes in from this, again, check the Twitter and the Facebook. The post will be up when you can send questions again through the forum. Right now, if you do it, it goes to nowhere. So get us up on Twitter and get us up on Facebook to find us out. And you can also go hit us up on YouTube to watch all the past episodes, including the after shows that are coming slowly. And again, the MP3s are on their way, so you can listen to just the audio tracks of each episode soon. The after shows will not be audio-wise. I think that's kind of like a YouTube live thing. To make an MP3 of the after show ranting, I don't think is formula enough. Like, it's not constructed enough to really make sense. So, but that'll be on the Facebook page and YouTube, and everything's on the actual URL, just FinalBoss.tv. But again, from me to you guys and the whole Final Boss crew, thank you very much for being here. Again, Ellumina, thank you. You gotta go watch some League of Legends now?
Yeah, I just saw one of these games, and I don't want to tell you the.
Don't tell me!
I
Don't
know.
spoil
I can't.
Just quiet you. Quiet you.
Not saying a word.
Llarold, thank you very much again.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
That was a lot
I
of
was gonna
fun.
say you should put the suit back on for the last moment. Oh no, you don't have to.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Well, you better should. I'll pull a screenshot from it, because I always pull screenshots from the end of the episode, so I think I have one for... I can go back around, but Anafielle, also, thank you very much for being here. In front of the camera, not as... Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's great to talk to you guys. I love talking. I can talk for rating about days.
Got it. Emily, do you want
You're
to...
not the only one.
Oh, we're going back to Llarold now. All right, you want this for your screenshot there?
You better believe it.
All right. I can screen cap that, and I did my
Do you
dumb
have a top
face.
hat to go with that?
Oh,
Or a
well, I
bow
can't
tie?
I'm
see
afraid I
it.
don't have any top hats. How would I fit a top hat on over this headband? Come on, this thing is gigantic.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's fair.
that's true.
That's fair.
That's right.
Yeah, it is definitely true. But yeah, you guys are awesome. The chat is trying to reconnect again, but it's not gonna work. So
Oh. Oh well,
There's
everybody
that.
who watched the show too. Thanks for showing up with all the problems with.
oh
Twitch
yeah,
chat.
awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still really good. I mean, I am.
Hate it when Twitch is like this and all.
Yeah, it goes without saying though. I think there are lots of World of Warcraft podcasts out there, and a lot of great content they do. And it's still really humbling that we've had such a great reception in just our couple of weeks. This is our 7th show, 8th technically, but we don't count the pilot really because we were testing out so much stuff. So really, less than a month, and our YouTube page has grown. We went over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys very much for helping us out there. And the Twitter and the final. I mean, obviously, Twitter and Facebook are like different because people like one more than the other. It's like Apple and Mac. It's fine. We do both though. But again, we'll see you guys here again next Sunday. Next Sunday, I didn't bring about it in the episode proper because we don't have it locked in yet. We're going to have a 10-man heroic, 2 10-man heroic guests on to talk about how the upper crust of how 10-man heroic feels. And so you can kind of compare and contrast. We talked to so many 25-man heroic top guilds, like with Midwinter and Blood Legion and whatnot. But I wanted to get a 10-man episode on here with 2 10-man guests. So we're looking forward to that. Guests will be announced on Facebook and Twitter when we get that locked in. We just have everyone's so busy right now. It's kind of hard to get everyone,
Beginning of the patch.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then the week after that, we'll be kind of back to the basics until we bounce back around. We want to do episodes that are kind of catching up with the race as the guilds go, but I think we'll give them 2 weeks before we do an episode about the race. And we'll see if we can get some people on from the top tier guilds just to see about how things are going. If they want to talk about it. That's another thing too. It's hard to get
if
them
they
on.
want to talk about it.
Exactly. So it's going to be a lot of stuff we want to do for you guys, but we'll keep you informed on Facebook and Twitter. And we'll check you guys out here next week. Thank you very much for being here. Have a great rest of your week. Have fun raiding the Siege of Orgrimmar and Heroic. Have fun on LFR. Love you guys. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. I'm a pretty lady.
The quotables on this man. The quotables.
I love this guy.
I thought it came in very not funny today, so I'm glad that
Oh, on the platter?